Hello everyone and a very warm hello to moms to be, because in today's video I am going to share with you all my labor experience. So in some of my previous videos I have shared my pregnancy experience with you all, that is my first, second and third trimester and how it went. I have also shared some tips with you all which is very useful while during your pregnancy. So if you haven't watched those videos, please go and watch them as well. I will leave the link in the description below, so please go and watch them. And today of course I'll be sharing my labor experience. In my previous videos I had shared tips and tricks along the as I was sharing my experience. This video I would like to take it a little differently. I would share my labor experience first because I don't want to break the flow while I'm talking, and then there are certain tips and certain things that I want you to be prepared with before you go to the hospital, your hospital bag, and what questions you need to ask the hospital so that you're prepared before you go to deliver the baby to the hospital. So that I will be doing towards the end of the video. So without any further ado, let's get started, guys. So guys, in my previous video where I had shared my third trimester experience with you all, I had told you all that the last 20 days of my pregnancy were a little bit difficult for me because it was very painful. I had pain around the pelvic area because of the growing baby's weight, and I had to literally sleep on a chair. So of course I was growing impatient. With every doctor's visit I was very impatient. Whenever I would go to the doctor, I would feel like today she should tell me that get admitted, we'll deliver the baby. It was that bad. I was really impatient because I was in 9th month and everyone was so anxious that it would happen anytime. So yeah, but my baby decided to come exactly on the due date. So as I had mentioned in my previous video also, my due date was 17 Jan 2020 and my hospital bag was ready from the day I started 9th month. So 17 December I had my hospital bag ready. Everything was set. So the moment they would say that get admitted, my hospital bag was ready. I just had to pick it and go and get admitted. That's how much I was prepared. But my baby did not want to come out so soon. So on the 15th of Jan, when we went to the for a general checkup, and nothing happened. So the doctor was like, since the due date is 17th, we will wait till 16th night. And then she told me that you consume castor oil along with milk on the 16th night. This is basically to induce labor. And I was really skeptical about this, but since she had told me to do this, I came back home and I was really scared as to how to consume castor oil, because if castor oil is very bitter in taste and it's a very thick oil. Even if you mix it with milk, I don't think it might have made any difference. But luckily I think even my daughter was skeptical, and on the morning of 16th Jan, I lost my mucus plug. So mucus plug is a sticky greenish substance that is like a cork to the uterus. So it comes off. So in the morning I saw that, but losing mucus plug doesn't mean you'll go into labor. Sometimes it also happens that you lose mucus plug and get into labor weeks after you have the mucus plug has come off. But somewhere in my mind I had this thing that I am going into labor. So this happened in the morning of 16 Jan, somewhere around 8 o'clock, but I did not experience any pain. And then gradually I started experiencing pain by 12 in the afternoon, and I told my husband to not go to work that day because I had a feeling that this is happening. So and since I started experiencing pain at regular intervals. So that's how labor pain is. You do not experience continuous pain. It comes and goes and comes back at regular intervals. So I called my mom because I wanted her to be there with me during my delivery. So I called my mom and told you come. I think I'm getting into, like, it's happening, I'm getting into labor, so you come soon. Her bags were already packed, so she reached my place by around 3 p.m. By then the pain was gradually increasing. It was not much, but it was like bearable pain. I can't even say that it was labor exactly. So I was very confused at that point in time. So my mom came, and we decided to wait for the pain to increase, because even in the hospital they say that you should come only when the pain keeps repeating at say 5 to 10 minutes interval, not a half an hour or 15-minute interval. So what I did was, we were waiting, and by 7 o'clock the pain started gradually increasing even more, but not not considerably. So then we decided that we should go to the doctor to check if I am in labor. And there was also this confusion that the doctor had asked me to consume castor oil on the 16th night. So there was this confusion that if I am in labor, should I consume castor oil or should I not consume castor oil? So that was also confusion, which we decided to go to the hospital and get this confusion cleared. So me, my mom and my husband, we went to the hospital, and very casually, nothing, with no hospital bag, nothing. We were like, oh, we are going to just come back. We're just going to go to solve the query of the castor oil thing and see if I'm in labor. So we went to the hospital, and that day the doctor was not there in the hospital. So the nurses checked me, and she was like, oh, you are in labor. And I was like, okay. And then everything was like so quick, like getting admitted. And that was I got the last bed in the hospital. The hospital was so crowded, it was full with patients. I got the last bed in the hospital. So everything happened so quickly. They admitted me, they gave me enema, and I got admitted. Then my mother-in-law came along with my bag and all of those things. So yeah, that's how I got admitted, guys. So I got admitted in the hospital at around 7:30 in the evening, and yeah, and the pain was coming and going, and the frequency of the pain was of course increasing, but very slowly. When we got admitted, that is when we realized that the hospital does not allow males, the husbands or any male member of the family to stay overnight in the hospital. Only females were allowed. So my husband had to go back home, and my mom was there, of course, with me. So that is how the situation was. The hospital was super crowded that day. There were so many deliveries happening. The doctor was coming and going, and with every visit she was of course checking me also, because I was in labor. But there was nothing happening. So at around 10 o'clock my husband came again with dinner. I had my dinner, still nothing happening much. So I told my husband, we checked with the doctor, when the labor when the delivery would happen, if it would happen. So she said that at the rate which I was dilating, she expected the delivery to happen only next day, late in the afternoon or morning. So I told my husband, okay, fine, you can go home, because anyways I'm not delivering midnight or early morning or somewhere like that. So he went, and then I was left alone with my mom, and the pain started gradually increasing, and it every 1 hour the nurses would come and check you, if the pain is more and if the baby's heartbeats are fine and all of that. But the pain was gradually at around 1 or 2 it started becoming unbearable, and then I had to tell my mom to tell the nurses that I am not able to bear this pain, to do something about it. So luckily at 3 a.m. My gynac had come to the hospital to do another delivery, and during that delivery she came in, and when she checked me, my bag hadn't broken yet. So what she did was she cut my bag, and she told me that now your pain would gradually increase. So be patient and be calm. It's all right. But no matter how much the doctor would ask you to stay calm, or you want to be calm, the after the bag was after like the doctor cut the bag, the pain was really unbearable and unimaginable. I couldn't take it at all. I was literally screaming from 3 a.m. to I think 4:30 a.m. when the nurse actually came. And since I said I got the last bed, so I was in the general ward from 3:30 to 4:30. From 3 to 4:30, I did not let anyone in my ward sleep because I was yelling in pain. So the nurse came and she took me to the labor room. She was like, she's not letting anyone sleep. Let's just take her to the labor room so that at least everyone else can rest. So yeah, at 4:30, the nurse took me to the labor room, and the pain was really getting unbearable. I was constantly telling the nurse that do something about this, at least remove the baby. I was so fed up. I told her that do something, do it's okay, operate me, do a C-section, just get the baby out. But of course, they don't do anything of that sort. They were waiting for me to dilate for it till at least 8 to 9 centimeters. So I think at around 5:45, I dilated for 7 to 8 centimeters when the nurse checked me, and she told another nurse to call the doctor because I was almost delivering. So that is when the doctor came. Now everything post this is very hazy in my memory. I don't remember all of it, but I'll in bits and pieces because I was in a lot of pain. So the doctor came, and initially when I was trying to push, I was not able to. I felt that I've lost all my energy, and I also told the doctor that I cannot do this. You just do a C-section. But the doctor was very firm that there's nothing wrong. You are going to deliver normally. So. Later, I just remember the doctor telling me one thing, that if this goes on for a little more time, your baby will go into distress, so you need to push and just be calm and just push properly. So after that, I don't know why, when I heard that my baby would be in distress, I thought I need to do this, and I did it, guys. So at 6:37 my daughter was born, 6:37 a.m. in the morning. And that's how I delivered my baby. So this was my delivery story. It felt so amazing to hold the baby in my hand. Of course, you cannot hold. They put the baby on me, and for her to feel the warmth of the mother. And it was the most amazing experience of my life. I won't say that it made me forget all the pain. The pain of course remains in your memories. It's too cliche to say that you forget your labor pain when you see your baby, but of course it's worth the trouble. So guys, now that you have heard my labor experience, I would like to share certain tips and certain things with you. The very first and the most important thing that I would like to share is that please do not have any expectations about the type of delivery that you're going to have. Whether it is a C-section or a normal delivery, all that matters is the safety of the mother and the baby, of course. So even if last minute the baby, because the baby is in distress, the doctor has to opt for a C-section, please do not get upset. To ensure that you do not get upset during that last minute, you have to mentally prepare yourself from the pregnancy itself, that whatever the type of delivery, it's all right. I am going to manage it. I am going to be strong, because this is very important, guys. Now the second thing that I would like to share with you is the things that you need to carry in your hospital bag. Now hospital bag is something that I think is a very hyped thing these days. I personally feel that if you are living close to your house, you can carry just bare minimum essentials in your hospital bag, because someone is always going to come and go to visit you in the hospital from your house, right? So you can always call for anything that you need from your house. So the bare minimum that you need to carry is one, maternity gowns, good quality cotton maternity gowns, nursing gowns also they are called. You can use the button ones, the ones with the zip. The safer option is to use the ones with the button. The second thing that you need to carry is sanitary napkins. I use the ones that I would use otherwise also. There are also maternity sanitary pads available in the market. You can check out those also. Third thing is maternity bras, good quality 2 to 3 maternity bras. And fourth thing is 3 to 4 panties, preferably cotton ones, because they are the most comfortable when you have delivered a baby. So these are the 3 to 4 things that you need to that are very essential to be there in your hospital bag. And other things would be tissues, your comb, a pouch of all the things that you would need on a daily basis, because you would stay in the hospital for 3 to 4 days at least. So all these things are important for you to keep in your hospital bag. Now this is for the mother. The things that you need to carry for your baby is clothes, of course, langots, jhablas, towel, socks, hand muffins, caps, all of these things. Now in some cultures you do not shop for the baby clothes before the baby is born, but you cannot keep the baby bare till you go shopping after the baby is born. So I would suggest that what we had done is we had bought just some things 3 or 4 jhablas, 3 or 4 langots, to ensure that for that day at least the baby is covered, and then of course later all the shopping for the baby was done. So that is what goes into your hospital bag. Now there are certain questions that you need to ask the hospital people before you go to there to deliver. Whenever you go for a visit, you need to ask certain questions which are important for you to know before you go for your delivery, right? So the first thing is cost of your delivery, so that there is no shocks, no last minute surprises that are happening. So the cost, if it is a normal delivery, if it is a C-section, if you're taking a special room, if you're in the general ward or whatever. So all those questions need to be asked beforehand itself. The payment mode to the hospital, what payment mode they use, or do they accept only cash, or NEFT is allowed, or do they accept cards? All these things needs to be prepared. You need to be prepared with all these things, because last minute if you go to do a card transaction and the hospital says, oh, we do not allow cards, or we do not accept cards, it would be a surprise for you. So you better be prepared with it, right? And the third thing is it's always preferable to ask them that who can stay at night in the hospital. Now this was a mistake that we made. We ensured that we had asked everything, but we did not ask this, and because of this my husband could not stay at night, and I got upset. If I would have known already that males were not allowed in the hospital at night, I would have prepared myself to be with my mom. But I was of this mindset that my husband would be with me during my delivery, which did not happen because the hospital did not allow male members. So it's always good to be prepared mentally about all these things, because at the time of your delivery, when you come to know certain things, it sort of upsets you, which you want to avoid. So these are certain questions that I think you need to ask the hospital before you go for delivery. So that's about it, guys. I really hope that you liked this video, and there were some interesting tips and takeaways for you from this video as well. I am really grateful and humbled that you are liking my videos. If you like this video also, please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Please follow my Instagram account. Until we meet next time, thank you so much, and bye bye.